Ellie and Paris lived near a lake that had a strange secret. When the water got low, time doors opened, taking people to other years. In 2022, Ellie's sister Anna went missing, and Ellie found out something surprising that sent her back in time. Would Ellie be able to save her sister and return home? The story took place in two different time periods. One was in 2003, and the other was in 2022. Although the time was different, the location remained the same. The story began with a car accident involving Paris and his mother. Suddenly, his mother had a seizure and fell from a bridge into the lake. Paris somehow managed to save himself but couldn't save his mother. Several years passed since the accident, but Paris could never forget it. He often wondered why his mother had a seizure right when they were crossing the bridge. He would frequently check her medical records, believing she might have been misdiagnosed or mistreated, though this suspicion always stayed with him. His father missed his wife as well, but wanted to move on. After coming home from work, Paris's father asked him to attend a memorial, but Paris changed his mind. Paris also had a girlfriend named C, and after his mother's death, he stopped seeing her. She lived in Houston but came for the memorial. Later, she met with Paris. They talked for a while and spent some time together. C understood his pain and, because she loved Paris, wanted to help him move forward. However, Paris remained stuck in the past. That night, he heard strange noises, and even his dog started barking. But Paris didn't give it much thought. The next day, when Paris went to fix the pipes in the lake, he noticed that the water level was low. As he walked a bit away from the boat, he suddenly felt something unusual. He had unknowingly stepped into a time door, but since he didn't go too far, he stayed in his own time. After returning, his partner mentioned that something was stuck in the engine. When Paris began clearing the debris, something strange occurred. He found a locket that belonged to his mother. It wasn't odd that he found the locket in the lake where his mother had died. What troubled him was that he already had his mother's locket, which was identical to the one he just found. The fact that another identical locket was at the place where she passed away disturbed him. To confirm it belonged to his mother, Paris went back and searched through his belongings. The two lockets were exactly the same. Later, Paris shared this with his girlfriend, C. At first she believed him, but Paris took her to the area near the lake where he had felt something strange. However, because these time doors constantly change location, they couldn't find the door this time, so they returned home. Now the story moved to the year 2022, showing how these two timelines connected. Ellie, a teenager, was picking up her sister Anna from school by boat. On the way, Anna showed Ellie a locket, claiming it was their mother's. This locket was the same one that Paris had found in 2003. When Ellie arrived home, she heard that a crocodile had been found dead by the lake, and someone had brought it to the shore. The crocodile was split in half. What actually happened was that the time door had shifted, and it cut anything in its path, including the crocodile. But the people around had no idea what really caused it. Ellie threw the dead crocodile back into the lake. When she got home, she found that Daniel's entire family was there. After dinner, Ellie got into an argument with her mother because she needed her mother's signature on a document, as well as her father's death certificate. This upset her mother, and they had a heated argument. In her anger, Ellie left and spent the night at a friend's house. The next day, she received several calls from her mother. When Ellie returned home, she learned that her sister Anna had gone missing. A month earlier, Anna had followed Ellie in a boat. Everyone was deeply worried and searched everywhere for her. Daniel then asked Ellie for the keys to her boat, but it turned out the boat she had just returned in had already been taken, which made them even more concerned. The police and the neighbors searched everywhere for Anna, but she couldn't be found because she had traveled to another time. Ellie's mother blamed her, believing that Anna must have followed Ellie and disappeared. Despite searching for 2 days, they found no evidence of Anna's whereabouts. One night, feeling hopeless, Ellie took her boat and ventured deep into the jungle. Before Anna's disappearance, she had heard someone mention seeing shackles in the lake, which seemed impossible. However, that night, Ellie saw the shackles with her own eyes, which greatly surprised her. It became a serious concern. That night, Ellie unknowingly passed through the time portal and felt something strange. When she returned home in the morning, she realized something was off because she had come back to the day Anna disappeared, and she had experienced it all before. Looking outside, she saw another version of herself from that timeline approaching the house. Ellie remained silent and later left quietly in her boat. It was then revealed that when Ellie's boat was stolen earlier, it had actually been her, traveling through time, who took it. Ellie started to suspect that something unusual was happening in that part of the lake. She returned to the area and wandered around until she once again traveled back in time, this time going back 1 month. It was the same day Anna had followed her. Ellie was thrilled to find Anna alive and well. She went to her, intending to take her home. But then, Ellie noticed that Anna was missing a tooth in real time. Realizing that she had gone back in time, Ellie took Anna home, where Daniel and her mother scolded Anna. Before leaving, Ellie warned Daniel, her stepfather, not to let Anna go to the lake alone. Ellie was speaking about the future, 1 month from that day. However, the question remained. If this Anna wasn't the one who went missing, then where had she gone? To answer this, we go back to Paris, who returned to the lake again. This time, when he traveled through the time portal, he reached the year 1952, before the lake existed, as the dam had not been built until 1953. Paris moved ahead and found an injured Anna from 2022. She had somehow ended up in 1952. Paris picked her up and carried her towards the road. He realized that he was not in his own time and came across some dam workers. He handed Anna to them, asking them to take her to the hospital. Paris asked what year it was, and one of the workers told him it was 1952. Paris was shocked. The workers became suspicious, wondering what he had done to the girl. But before they could do anything, Paris ran away. He had some records of the lake and his mother's medical records with him. He looked through them and realized that whenever the water level of the dam lowered, the time portal opened, allowing him to travel to another timeline. He was happy because now he could save his mother. Paris hurried back to the lake, hoping to travel back in time and save her. Meanwhile, Ellie also understood that the portal opened in that part of the lake, so she too traveled through time. Paris arrived in the year 2022, the time when Anna disappeared, and Ellie reached Paris's time. While Ellie was wandering through the city searching for Anna, she saw her mother's necklace in a car outside a shopping mall, the same one Anna had. When she tried to take it, C, Ellie's real mother, stopped her. Ellie didn't know this at first and asked C how she got the necklace. During this time, Paris had already time traveled, and he was with C, who now had a daughter. Ellie saw her younger mother and herself as a child. C suspected that Paris might be having an affair with Ellie, not knowing who she really was. Before leaving, C told Paris to come back soon, saying she missed him and that they had a daughter named Ellie. By then, Ellie had pieced everything together. She went to an internet cafe and found records from 1952, discovering that Anna had been adopted that year. Anna grew up, got married, and had a son named Paris. In reality, young Anna was Paris's mother and Ellie's grandmother, as she had traveled to 1952 and never returned, choosing to live her life there. Ellie felt fortunate to learn that her sister had lived a long life and was happy. Ellie printed out the records to show her mother, who believed that Paris had left them for another woman. In truth, he had traveled through time and become trapped. Back in 2022, Paris was arrested by the police for driving a boat in a restricted area. He tried to escape but was knocked unconscious in an accident and woke up in the hospital. Anna was still missing, so suspicion fell on Paris. But he didn't belong to that time. While the sheriff questioned him in the hospital, Paris struggled to explain what was happening. It began to rain, which meant the water level of the dam would rise again. Paris knew he had to escape back to his own time, or just before it, to save his mother. Paris fled the hospital, hijacked a car in the parking lot, and was shocked to discover it belonged to Daniel. C was there too. C was surprised to see Paris after so many years, but Paris couldn't see her. He realized he had never left her. While fleeing from the police, Paris reached the bridge where he had fallen into the lake and died. He could no longer travel through time, and his mother likely died because two versions of her couldn't exist at the same time. In the end, Ellie returned to her time 2022, where she learned that her father had come, but now knew the truth. She showed her mother pictures of Anna from 1952, explaining that Anna had grown up, married, and had Paris. It meant that everything had to happen this way. If one person strayed, the timeline would never be complete. Anna's disappearance had been a crucial mistake. Without it, neither Paris nor Ellie would exist. Her mother finally understood the truth, and all the anger she had for her daughter faded as they embraced. This was where the story ended.